product, right? And it's the same thing in sports. It's the same thing with your team. All of these things got to be done behind the scenes, and that's how you see great teams, right? So I'm gonna show you some behind the scenes work, and we're gonna break it down. I'm actually going to share with you right now my whiteboard, right? So give me 1 second so I can share my screen with you. Here we go. Okay. All right. So you can see the whiteboard now. So we're going to start actually talking about what I like to call knowing. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Wow. I didn't know that was going to do that. All right. So something that I like to call knowing your ABCs, right? So when I think about this, knowing your ABCs, I'm thinking about, all right, so knowing your ABCs has nothing to do with your actual ABCs, right? Like let's just keep it real. Like I'm not talking about really knowing your ABCs. I'm actually talking about, let me go back and share my screen with you so you can see it. I'm not talking about actually knowing your ABCs. I'm talking about knowing your team, right? So when you think about it, right, I want you to make 3 groups. And as I'm going through this, you should be doing the same thing. We have that handout. We got that PDF. You can print that off and you can follow along. Once again, it's always good to actually do the work, right? This makes no sense for you to spend money on a program and not actually do the work, right? And not to mention, I'm helping people win games, right? All right, so let's go group A. Right now, group A, this is your, I would say your overachievers, right? These are the kids that actually show up. They do things that you don't have to tell them to do over and over again. You don't have to tell these kids to come get extra shots. And I'm not talking about their skill. I'm talking about just their work ethic, what they actually work on, right? So these are your overachievers, right? That's a group A. If we look at group B, right? Group B is going to be what we call your average, right? I'm not talking about just average skill. I'm talking about average will, right? Like these are the people that come in, they do exactly what you tell them to do. They're not going to go over. They're not going to go lower. But these are the kids that you can depend on. You know what you're going to get from them. You know what they give. You don't always agree or you're not satisfied, but you actually know that they do show up and they do what you tell them to do, right? And I'm gonna actually go ahead and put some percentages next to them based on different clients that I've dealt with the teams that I've worked with. On an average, I've seen about 10%. Anything over 10% is excellent, right? When we talk about an overachiever, right? So out of 10 kids, maybe you got one that's just over the top. All right. Then we have average, and average is exactly what it is. It's usually about, I would say, let me erase that. I would say that this is about 7 to 8 kids, right? Or we could say about 80%. All right, so we're talking about 80% are just average, right? Then we have group C. Now, group C is a very interesting group. This is what we like to call the wild card, right? When I think about group C, I think about the wild card. And inside of this wild card, we have normally, I would say about, once again, this is about 10%, right? Same thing, about 10%, maybe 1 to 2 kids, right? All right, so we have knowing your ABCs. Group A, overachievers. Group B, average. Group C, wild cards, right? Now, you may be sitting there thinking, how do I do this, right? So what I want you to do is go ahead and write down Group A, right? I want you to go ahead and write down Group A at the top of your paper. And I want you to write down 1, 2, 3, 4. Write down everybody that's in group A, and you're gonna do the same thing for group B, same thing for group C, right? And you may need to take some time and go do that. I'm gonna go ahead and wait for you. Psych, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and wait for you to go do that. But you should really go do that. Write down your group A, your group C, group B, and group C, okay? So after you do these things, what we like to do is organically start to be able to move kids and start to look and see, okay, where's most of my attention going? Once again, if I come back over and I look at my ABCs, I see that a majority of my players are here, right? So if a majority of my players are here, sometimes what we do is we will dedicate a lot of our time here, right? We may be telling this 1 or 2 kids, we are repeatedly meeting with them. We are repeatedly telling them what they're supposed to be doing. We are repeatedly chasing them down and getting them to go to class. We got assistant coaches talking to them. We bringing in Coach DP to come talk to them. We bringing in everybody to come talk to Group C. But what you really fail to realize is, look at this percentage. We should be watering what works, right? We should be moving these kids up to A's, right? If we could get these Group B kids, which are actually closer to Group A, we could organically move Group C. If we take our focus off of Group C, we will automatically be able to give more attention to Group B and organically move those kids up, right? Now, you may be saying, how am I going to move kids up? What are you talking about, right? So we like to do a couple different things. So to move groups, we use a preferred pairing system, right? This is the system that is used to actually move a Group B or Group C kid up to Group A. Now, I would strategically or just sitting down and practice when you're planning out your practices. If you have a lot of pair drills, I will go ahead and pair the B's with the A's. This way I can actually show, all right, this is what's going to happen. I want you to think about a classroom, right? In a classroom, you may have desks here, right? Kids are sitting in pairs. Now, what I usually do is the same thing. I'm going to put a Group C kid here, a Group A kid here, Group A kid, Group B kid. Or I may even put a high B, maybe a B plus kid here with that C kid, right? Because you're not going to have as many A's to just put them everywhere. So I would be cautious about that. And you could actually start to distinguish between who's a B plus and who's just a normal B. When you get these B pluses, you want to pair those up with A's right away. So what that may look like is, if your A is Susie, right? And Susie's coming in the gym and she's getting up all these extra shots and she's doing everything that she's supposed to do, then I would say, hey, Susie, let me talk to you for a second. You are killing the game. You are doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. I'm so happy for you. The team is improving because of the commitment to your extra work that you're putting in. But we're gonna need you to go get Juicy, right? Go get Big Juicy and tell her that she needs to actually be in the gym working out with you, right? Now I've actually paired them up. Now I can show the C how to work with the A, or the B how to work with the A. They can see what it's supposed to look like, right? Like, so that the Group A student or student athlete can see what it's supposed to look like. They can show the other group what they're supposed to do.